Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cuda Education. This is the Vulkan API discussion series. So today I want to discuss pipeline derivatives. So the long and short of it is that pipeline derivatives they exist in theory to make it less expensive to make um, other similar pipelines after you've made the base pipeline. Let me repeat again. You make a base pipeline and you want to make another graphics pipeline off of the base pipeline, and essentially the derivative pipeline or the next pipeline that you create is fairly similar to the one that you're basing it off of, right? So you have your base pipeline, and then you have maybe several derivative pipelines. And the idea is that you want to do a derivative pipeline as opposed to creating a whole new pipeline separately because it's less expensive. What do I mean by less expensive? It's less processing power, it's less code, it's more efficient. That is the theory anyway. Now, depending on who you ask, and depending on the device that you're on, some say that pipeline derivatives aren't worth it. Some say, some even discourage you from using derivative pipelines or pipeline derivatives. I'm not in a position to say yes or no, what it is or not. I'm just here to kind of let you know what is being said out there. So again, you have a base pipeline, and then you have maybe several derivative pipelines. Now, there's also the possibility, I'm not going to cover it in this video, but there's also the possibility of one of the derivative pipelines also having its own derivative pipelines. So maybe you have pipeline 1, which is a base pipeline, and then you have pipeline 4, which is a derivative of pipeline 1. But then off of pipeline 4, you have pipeline 4A and pipeline 4B and pipeline 4C, which is a derivative of pipeline 4. And of course, pipeline 4 is a derivative of pipeline 1. The spec and what I've seen online also allows for that to happen. So you have a parent-child relationship. So you kind of have grandchildren and great-grandchildren and all that stuff. Whether it's worth it, it depends on your situation, your hardware, your application, all of that stuff, right? So again, my approach to this discussion is basically to just highlight the code that discusses these things, and what you basically have here is a bunch of a section of the code. This code again is courtesy of Sascha Willems, and I will provide a link below in the description for his repository. And this is just some example code. It's the example that's starting, that's the pipelines example. And we're basically the real heart of what this example is trying to show is him creating a pipeline. And then so this basically is the information for creating the first pipeline. So this is like your base pipeline. And then from that, you see it says all pipelines created after the base pipeline will be derivative. So you have to set a flag, VK pipeline, create derivative bit, and then base pipeline will be our first created pipeline. So this pipelines.fong, we set that as the base, as you can see here, because that's a handle for the first VK create graphics pipeline. And then we also have to set the base pipeline index to -1. It's not section 9.5. I forgot what section it is, but I think it's a different section from what he had here. I assume that when he was creating this code, the you know, it was an old version of the spec, so this is a little bit, it might be a different what have you, but you could search for it on your own. And then you basically create the derivative pipelines. Now this is one pipeline, and then this is another pipeline. But notice with this pipeline, you check to make sure that there's a certain feature available on your version of your environment and what you're doing, right? And that's pretty much it. It's not, you know, it's not anything, you know, earth shattering, but you do have to set the VK pipeline create allow derivatives bit here. So this is very important. Then after you create your first pipeline, you basically, you know, set that as your base pipeline. And then in every other, you notice that in every other pipeline creation, you have pipeline CI, right? So you're kind of referencing the create info stuff, which is all this stuff here. And then you're setting this as the base pipeline. So, and then you're changing, notice also that you're changing certain things in each of the tune shading and the wireframe. You're changing some of the stages. So this was Fong, this is tune, and this is wireframe. So you're changing some of the stages in each of the pipelines. So let's get to the celebration and actually run this thing. So here we see that we have base pipeline, tune, and then wireframe. And you know, you know, nothing too special, but you see it's a tree with grass and all that, right? Treasure chest and all that. All right. Nothing special, nothing you know, nothing too crazy, but each one of these is a different pipeline, right? And you know, that's how we go about making pipeline derivatives. Now again, depending on who you ask, pipeline derivatives should be used or should not be used. So that's pretty much a discussion on pipeline derivatives. I'm not going to go into it too much more. Just remember that the base pipeline index has to be set to -1, this section right here. And then you have to set your flags. Notice that the flag, so notice that the flag changes after you create the first pipeline. So you set the pipeline to VK create allow derivatives bit, then you create your base pipeline, and then you change the flag to VK pipeline create derivative bit. So you notice that it's a different flag, and then every other you know, obviously you set this as a base pipeline in -1, and then every other pipeline after that is going to be considered a derivative of your base pipeline. All right, so that concludes the discussion on the pipeline derivatives. Now, I do want to show you some more stuff in Nsight Graphics. Okay, so again, Nsight Graphics is a tool for you to develop your computer graphics application. It's only limited to people with NVIDIA GPUs, and more specifically, a modern NVIDIA GPU. But it's a really good tool to kind of just tinker with stuff and see stuff. Now, I have the GeForce 1050 Ti, which gives me some access to the features, but not the whole gamut of stuff. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is I wanted to just kind of continue our discussion of Nsight Graphics, because it's an important tool that we all really should be using. So let's go. So now, before I used to do frame debugger, but now I'm doing the frame profiler, and it's going to gladly tell me that not everything on it is so it basically runs the application, and then you do capture for live analysis. And when you do capture for live analysis, you see says profiling not available on the CPU, blah blah. But anyway, you get to see a bunch of you know, things that are happening in terms of time. And you see the pipeline actions here. And then you see like a whole bunch of a list of you see a list of events that are happening. Now, notice that we have VK bind pipeline, and then we have VK CMD draw indexed, and we have a whole bunch of draw commands. So that's, if you ask me, it's the first pipeline, base pipeline. Then you have a VK CMD bind pipeline again, and then you have a whole another set of draw commands. Then you have a VK CMD bind pipeline again, and a whole bunch of draw commands, right? So 3 sets of draw commands, which kind of makes sense because we have 3 different pipelines and all of that stuff, right? And you know, that's pretty much that. If you go over to API statistics, you will see that you get some kind of information about how much time is being used on the CPU and the GPU. So, you know, that's that. So anyway, what I wanted to do was what I also wanted to show you, because we're trying to really get into this stuff, is I'm going to click on one of the draw indexed. Okay, it's important to click on one of these draw commands and draw index commands especially, right? And then you're going to go to frame debugger and then go to geometry. And when you do that, you see a really cool feature come up where you're able to see sort of what is being drawn. Yeah. So you get to see stuff as it relates to that particular command. Now, obviously, you could do another one. Right, this looks like part of the base. And yeah, so you kind of get an idea of how, you know, and of course you have memory considerations. All of this stuff. So that was my other thing I wanted to show you. The Nsight Graphics geometry feature. Do another one. So remember, you have to choose one of these special events, or else it will tell you that it's not a draw command and you can't. Now I have no idea what this is, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. Yes, indeed. So anyway, guys, this is okay. So that's pretty much it. Not going to. I want to make this video short, so I'm not gonna talk about more things. But now you guys know about pipeline derivatives. You know about Nsight Graphics geometry feature. And stay tuned for the next video. I'll talk about more stuff. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Obviously, subscribe to the channel, number one. Number two, I gotta do this every time, guys. I gotta do this every time. If you want to have the examples running on your Windows-based machine with a Vulkan capable GPU, you have to check out tutorial number 13. I have the link below for tutorial number 13. It will, assuming you have a Windows computer with a fairly recent graphics card that is Vulkan capable, the tutorial number 13 helps you to get these examples running. I feel that the best way to learn Vulkan is to have code running on your machine, and then you tinker with it, comment out stuff, break stuff, try and run it, see what happens. That's the best way to learn. And obviously, Cuda Education is here to help. Again, Nsight Graphics, you have to have a recent NVIDIA graphics card. Even with my 1050 Ti graphics card, I'm not able to do all the features in Nsight Graphics, but we're still able to do some things. So this is only limited to the guys that have an NVIDIA graphics card that's fairly modern. CudaEducation.com, check that out. Check out all the other tutorials on Vulkan. I have a whole bunch of stuff on Vulkan. So it is the future. It is what the world needs for the digital age. Really excited about the augmented reality, virtual reality stuff. Even I'm sure in the future Vulkan will be hologram capable, but don't quote me on that. So when holograms come out and all that stuff, you'll be in the front row to really use that stuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.